Hi. So, we have approached to the last week of this course, and so far we have learnt various aspects of immunology. We have learnt innate immunity, adaptive immunity. Some topic we learnt in quite depth, and some topic we have touched upon, and we learned that how overall immune system works. After that, we have discussed about the virus infection, we have learnt about the bacterial infection, and now we are toward end of this course, and we are going to learn about the fungal infection. So, fungal infection is in general, it is not very common, and it is mainly associated with um, uh, immunocompromised individual, and this immunocompromise can be it could be a acquired or it could be a congenital. Okay, in healthy individual they don't cause any severity in general. Okay, so but fungus do cause disease. So in this session we will discuss about the fungal infection. So fungus is very well known for various food products. Okay, as you may aware that a lot of things is basically we produce with the help of fungus. Okay, to example few, the best example is vinegar. You know, bread, every morning probably you might taking the bread. You may occasionally taking beer or wine, and you may taking the cheese, and in hospital setting we use antibiotic. Okay, so antibiotics are produced by several fungus. Probably you may remember the discovery of Alexander Fleming. Okay, he discovered penicillin. Okay, so the fungus has a more positive impact on our life. Okay, but yeah, there are some fungus which cause disease. Okay, and this disease is mainly associated with immunocompromised individual. There are some bad products produced by the fungus. There are some fungus produce a toxic substance. Some fungus produce a agent which can cause the cancer in human. We call it as a carcinogens. Okay, some fungal product cause the hallucination. Okay, some of hallucinogenic drugs like lysergic acid is coming from the fungus, Ray ergot fungus. It's Claviceps purpureus, and some of very common disease which is mainly associated with small kids, so whose immunity is not yet well developed. One of the best example is ringworm infection. It's the name is misleading. So the ringworm is not associated with worm. It's basically the fungal infection. Okay, which is it's a fungal skin infection, and it is caused by Microsporium and Trichophyton species. And probably you might heard that the people who are working in the field, okay, or farmers, they develop a athlete foot. Okay, athlete's foot. Basically, there are some kind of decay in the in between the fingers of feet. Okay, so these are some of very simple diseases associated with fungus. Okay, so there are approximately a million fungus are known. Okay, and out of million fungus, or 10 to the power 6 fungus, there are only 400 species of fungus which cause the disease to the human, which is quite a small in number. It's, if you look at the number, is about 0.04%. Okay, so these fungus can cause disease in human. Okay, fungal infection could be exogenous, more superficial. As I have explained you, they can infect skin. They can gain access through injury, inhalation, through respiratory tract or ingestion. Okay, and they can cause a disease. There could be a endogenous fungal infection, which basically sometimes these fungus, when the individual immunity is somehow compromised, then they may breach or gain access to the sterile part of of our body, and then over there they can cause severe diseases. Okay, I will discuss all those things in subsequent slide and in this session and upcoming session. Okay. So, fungal diseases are commonly called as a mycosis. Okay, and the study of fungus, probably you are aware that we call it as a mycology. Okay, fungus do cause a disease in human, animal, and they are also causing disease in plants. Probably you may aware about that. Okay. Mainly this fungal infection is mainly opportunistic, and fungal infection could be various level, as I told you, exogenous or endogenous, and this could be like a superficial, very superficial, like athlete foots. It could be a cutaneous, it could be a subcutaneous, it could be deep in tissues, and this can be systemic. Okay, so that depends on the host immunity as well as the pathogenicity of fungus. Okay, so some infection start from cutaneous and it may reach to the lung. Okay, there is a one very good example, coccidiomycosis. Okay, or it is also known as valley fever. So this infection start from skin and then this reaches to the lung. So this is quite a life threatening. Okay, fungal infection is basically associated with acquired or congenital immunodeficiency, or it may be associated with malnutrition. Okay, if the kids or individual is not getting a proper food, then that may also cause the fungal infection. Immunity to the fungal infection, so the immune responses which is developed against the fungal infection, they are very clear cut. One of the probably you have learnt about the innate immunity, and over there you have learned there is some friendly microbes. Okay, so competitive inhibition by commensal microbe, okay, or organism, because if the individual receive long term antibiotic treatment, they may suffer from oral and vulvovaginal infection by Candida albicans. So this is a kind of proof that when you take a long term antibiotic, okay, at that time your microflora which is present in the gut, that are severely affected. Okay, and because of this the individual may susceptible to the various fungal infection, as you have seen in this point, that there could be some oral infection, there could be some vulvovaginal infection of fungus, and the fungus could be the Candida albicans. So this this microbial barrier, if you remember in innate immunity, I have discussed about the microbial barrier. So this microbial barrier is very important for the defense against fungal infection, because there is a competition. If the good fungus or good microbes are reduced, then these pathogenic microbes can increase, or they can cause the health issues. Okay. The most important innate immune component is the functional neutrophils. Okay. So neutrophils are playing extremely important role against fungal infection. Okay, and it has been noticed that the neutrophilopenia or reduced number of neutrophil or malfunctioned neutrophil in the host can result to the fungal infection. Okay, so neutrophil, this suggests that neutrophil are playing very important role against the fungal infection. Another is you probably remember that there are various complement pathways. So among those complement pathway, if you remember, there is a alternative pathway and there is a lectin pathway. Okay, so these complement pathways are also playing very important role against the fungal infection. So you probably remember that this complement basically cause three major function. One is inflammation, it induces inflammation, it opsonizes, so you can understand that fungus can produce the spores. So if this spore is opsonized by say C3b, then it will be readily phagocytosed by the phagocytic cells. Okay, and the spore or the fungal hyphae can be destroyed by membrane attack complex, which is the outcome of this complement pathway. Okay, so in that way, this alternative and lectin pathway, particularly lectin pathway, plays a very important role against fungus. Lectin pathway basically they senses the sugar moiety which is present over the fungus. Okay, and then this will trigger the complement pathway, and then as I explained you, it will induce the inflammation, opsonization, and cytolysis through formation of membrane attack complex. Okay. Another is there are several antimicrobial peptide, and there is a protein known as MBP, mannose binding protein. They play a very important role against fungal infection, particularly against Candida albicans. Here you can see that there is another fungus like Aspergillus fumigatus, and I will discuss about this neoformans in more detail in subsequent session. Okay, so over there this mannose binding protein plays a very important role against the fungal infection. There are some surfactant protein mainly which is these proteins are present in the lungs. Okay, and they play a very important role against fungal infection in lungs. Okay, so this is very important protein. In addition, TLR2 and TLR4 has been shown to play a very important role against the fungal infection. Of course, they are, once they are sensed, then there will be a production of pro-inflammatory cytokine, and then there will be a recruitment of the immune cell, particularly maybe neutrophil, macrophages, and then the fungal infection can be taken care by the host immune system. So this is all about the innate immunity. The adaptive immunity, it has been shown that T cell mediated immune responses are playing extremely important role against the fungal infection. Okay. However, the role of B cell or B cell mediated immunity or antibody production, it is not very well understood. So this can be very easily demonstrated if you make if you knock out some key gene which is playing important role in T cell development, then you can show that okay, T cell mediated immunity is playing very important role against the fungal infection. However, B cells are not playing that much important role. Okay. Here again I am showing this is a very complete information again for the innate immune responses to the fungal infection. Here you can see that there are various ligand. Here on top you can see that there is a TLR2, there are ductin-1. So ductin-1, ductin-2, mingle, this mannose receptor, complement receptor, and DC sign. So all these receptors basically belongs to the CLR family sensors. Okay, CLR stand for C type lectin receptor sensors. Okay, like TLR, there is a CLR also there. So here you can see that TLR2 can sense. Here there is a scheme below. You can find out the panel which is explaining what this sensor can sense. So in case of TLR2, this can sense the candida, this can sense the paracoccidice, and this can also sense the cryptococcus. Okay. So this upon sensing, they can induce the phagocytosis, they can induce the pro-inflammatory cytokine. Okay. And there are ductin 1 receptor, which has a carbohydrate recognition domain. Okay. And this can sense variety of microbes such as candida, aspergillus, so and so. Okay. Pneumocystis. Okay. Coccidioides. Okay. This is also sensed, and then they can induce the inflammasome activation, they can produce ROS production, and they can also induce the MHC class 2 loading. Okay. And it can also produce type 1 interferon. So ductin 1 is a quite well characterized sensor in case of fungal infection. Okay. There are another receptor which is ductin 2, Minkel, mannose receptor, and complement receptor 3 and DC sign. So all these things, if you see very carefully, basically upon sensing various fungus, they can induce the pro-inflammatory cytokine, and like ductin 2, Minkel, this mannose receptor and complement receptor can induce the activation of Th17 immune response. Okay. So in that way, these various pattern recognition receptor, they are not playing very important role in innate immune defense, they are also linking with the adaptive immune response. They basically activate the Th17 cell response. Okay. In order to get rid of from this fungal infection. Here this is another quite a detailed slide. Here you can see there are various sensors. You can see that there is a IL-1 receptor 1, there is a which is also sensing the Candida albicans, yeast, and Candida albicans hyphae. Okay. And TLR2 can also sense the variety of fungal pathogen, including the fungal pathogen originated the PAMP, that is zymosan, or zymosan is basically a beta glucan. Okay. Ductin 1 can also sense the beta glucan, and there are some sensor which is not known, they can also sense the beta glucan, and there are TLR4 receptor complex, they can also sense some or other fungals. Okay. And TLR9 also sense the Candida albicans and Aspergillus fumigators, and basically they activate the MyD88 dependent signaling, and this will obviously produce the pro-inflammatory cytokine. They can also induce the IL-12 in dendritic cells and induce the respiratory burst, as you remember that there is a ROS and RNS. Okay. So ROS and RNS basically kill the microbe inside the phagocytic cells, and this can also trigger the degranulation, and overall they can also trigger the Th1 response. Okay. Which will basically trigger the killing of intracellular spores or fungal some various stages of fungal, like a yeast form of fungus. Okay. So this can be phagocytosed, and then this can be cleared by activation of Th1 immune responses. Okay. So there are here I am giving a quite detailed information about the innate immune responses to the fungal pathogen. Okay. Here you can see that the Candida albicans can cause a variety of disseminated candidiasis. This can cause the vulvovaginal candidiasis, mucosal candiditis, and basically the barriers breached or the site of infection will be blood, kidney, brain, heart, vagina, gastrointestinal tract, oral mucosa, and this candida can be sensed by TLR2, 4, 6, dectin 1, dectin 2, complement receptor 3, DC sign, and this is quite detailed information. Similarly, this is given for various fungus like Candida galabrata, okay, which cause a disseminated candiditis, and they affect again blood, kidney, brain, and heart. Aspergillus fumigatus, they can infect the lungs, can cause the aspergillosis. This can also cause the allergy or bronchopulmonary aspergillosis, okay, and basically it affects the blood and lungs, and this can be sensed by TLR9, 3, dectin 1, dectin 2, complement receptor 3, and DC sign. Similarly, all details are given about the pneumocystis carinii, which is this pneumocystis carinii is mainly associated with the individual who is infected with HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. Okay, so those individuals are quite susceptible to the pneumocystis carinii or pneumocystis species fungus. Okay. So these are the all detail. This is so all these fungus is basically belongs to the Ascomycota, and Ascomycota is a basically the family of fungus which makes a hypha, and there will be a septa. Okay, septum is there will be a kind of partition in the hyphae. Okay, and that's why they call it as a Ascomycota. Okay. So there is another family of fungus, and their details are given, and here you can see that this Cryptococcus neoformans. So this is a quite dangerous fungal infection, and this is also associated with immunodeficiency. Okay, and this can cause very fatal disease. About 50% people die due to this fungal infection, which is quite surprising. Okay, and this fungus can affect the lungs, brain, and spinal central nervous system, and this can be sensed by this mannose receptor, TLR2, and CR3. Okay, there are different another fungus. This is Cryptococcus gattii. This is also causing a similar disease as a Cryptococcus neoforman. It can cause the meningitis. Okay, and this is quite severe. There is another fungus, and all these fungus basically cause a variety of diseases in the human. And just for your information, or in next session I will discuss that. Okay, there are some very dangerous fungus are reported, and WHO made a priority. If this fungus is there, then that will be a really high risk. Okay, and this fungus is also developing a drug resistance, so that is the point of worry. Okay, anyway, that I will discuss in upcoming session. Here I am showing that invasive fungal diseases by fungal infection, and this is due to because this fungal infection morphogenesis and is playing a very important role in virulence. Okay, so you probably might be aware that fungus has different stages. Some in some fungus they make a hyphae, they can also make a spores, they can also make a different structure. So but some structures are highly pathogenic, and those structures are associated with virulence. Okay, here you can see that there is a dimorphic fungi. Here you can see there is a Blastomyces dermatitidis. This has a hyphae structure, and this has a yeast kind of a structure. Okay, Coccidio immitis, this is also having a different stages, or there are two morphoforms, or there are two phenotypic forms are there. Okay, like histoplasma, this is also having a different kinds of morphology. Okay, paracoccidio, this is also having a different kind of a structure, and it is possible that the one structure is much more virulent. Okay. There are opportunistic fungus like Candida albicans. Here you can see that this Candida albicans can be present in various forms, the budding yeast form, pseudo hypha form, and they can make a germ tube or hypha with septa. Cryptococcus neoformans also make a spore with capsule. Okay. Aspergillus fumigatus, they can also make a different kind or different form of fungus. Okay. Here you can see that there is a conidia and there is a hyphae with septa. So these different, so this is a very good strategy of fungus in order to evade the immunity. Okay. Different morphological form will definitely have a different biochemical composition and different virulence factor. Okay. So this is very easy way to evade the immunity. Okay. Here there is a interaction of dendritic cells with fungi. So you know that some fungi makes a hypha. So they are basically coiled and coiled when DC phagocytose, they phagocytose this coiling form. Okay. And if it is a hyphae form, then there will be a kind of zipper like zipper type of phagocytosis and like that. Okay. So, and upon phagocytosis, they can increase the expression of MHC class 2 molecule, co-stimulatory molecule, and IL-12 production. Here you can see, okay, various immune response. Basically, they can trigger the Th1 and Th2 responses. Okay, depend on the stages of fungus. This is a kind of summary of how the innate and adaptive immunity basically take care of the fungal infection. Okay, you have seen there are various kind of PRRs. Mainly the PRRs belongs to the C type lectin receptor. Okay, and upon sensing, this can be sensed by neutrophils, macrophages. Okay, and this can be opsonized by C3b or antibody, and basically this will induce the innate immune response, and this innate immune response can also activate the T cell mediated immune response, and then that result to the differentiation of various Th cells. Here you can see that there is a Th1 cells, there are Th2 and Treg cell, and depends on this immune response generated through T cell, this will regulate the innate as well as adaptive immune response. So this is a kind of complete summary about the immune responses against the fungal infection, which I have discussed in several occasions in previous session. Okay. So this is all about the defense against the fungal infection. In next session, I will talk about some of the fungal diseases, and I will also discuss about the there is some priority list made by the WHO. Some are extremely dangerous fungal infections, some are less, and some are like that. Okay. So thank you, and in next session we will discuss about all those things.